All right, so hi everybody, my name is David. Welcome to the January 8th MakerDAO community call. This is the first one of the year, so happy 2019 to everybody. 2018 certainly was a dark one for many of us in terms of the market, but this year is going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot in store, and I'm really excited to have these meetings with all of you guys and give you updates. So if you don't know about these meetings, we basically go through just several different types of updates in the MakerDAO universe. We have several community managers who talk about the events that they're going to, stuff that's going on in their universe. I go over technical milestones, online events, anything notable, partnerships, new hires, things of that nature. And then we have a section for highlights from the community. So, we at MakerDAO are all about our community, and our community just loves pumping out stuff. And I love reading it, and I hope you guys do too. But here we're gonna basically do a bit of a summary of all of that. We also have a section for free-form questions from the community. So if there's a burning question on anybody's mind, you guys can feel free to talk to us. There's a couple people from Maker here that will be happy to answer your questions, or at least dialogue. And yeah, but usually the community questions are a lot better when there's like a guest. Sometimes we have a guest on the call, but in light of the new year, we do not have a guest for this call. But it's right, because we have not had a community call in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks or something like that. I think the last one was December 18th. And so we have quite a bit of stuff that happened since then. So Marianne, our community manager, is in here, and I think that's everybody from Maker, actually. Kenny Rose in here. He's an old head from Maker. He's a legend. But anyway, I digress. All right, so I'm gonna go over. Actually, the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over what our community manager from Korea updated me with. So actually, Do has been killing it. He has been absolutely killing it. So he managed to get himself a free co-working space. So power to him. But he also started a Kakao Talk group, and it grew to over 110 people. And that makes us bigger than some of the major projects in terms of our exposure in Korea. They're on Kakao Talk, like NEM. So it's mostly blockchain professionals instead of individual investors. And so it's just like a really rich group, another channel for our social media from anybody in Korea who's interested in Maker. Do is also going to be judging for the non-technical part of the Binance hackathon in Korea on the 13th of January. And he's also hosting a relatively big conference on January 16th with several notable speakers, including Coin1, Huobi, Terra, and Polymath. And it's called, oh no, that's the name of the website on OffMix. But the event itself is in Korean, so I can't read it. Sorry. But if you're Korean, just DM me. I'll send you the link. Do is also speaking at the 2019 Blockchain Game Show on January 30th. That sounds interesting, a blockchain game show. I'd be curious about the format of that. But yeah, so he's doing that. Dai also got listed on a Korean exchange called Upside. Well, it's actually getting listed soon, but it was already publicly announced. So he told me to share it with you guys. And they're preparing a lot of fun stuff like buying gift cards for Dai and etc. He wrote. So Dai also got listed on a pretty small Korean exchange called On BTC, also Korean based. So a lot of stuff happening in Korea. That's really wonderful. Korea is definitely all about the blockchain hype. But it's nice to see foreign communities growing, and guys like Do, he's absolutely a wonderful community manager. I'm really glad that people like him are on our team. But yeah, moving on. So that's all for Korea. In terms of events, we have actually ETH Denver coming up next month. So that's going to be exciting. I'm going to be there. So anybody who wants to meet me, not that you want to meet me, but I'd be there. And a bunch of other people from Maker. And it's going to be a really cool event. I know ETH Denver is it holds a really warm spot in a lot of people's hearts in the Ethereum community, and it's going to be a cool event. But as for other events, I don't really have anything. Mariana, do you know any of the events going on in South America
No,
that are
no,
coming up?
we don't have like the event list yet. It's like still very early in the year.
Yeah.
Here in South America, we are in the middle of the summer, so it's pretty hot. I think that everybody's in the beach right now. So yeah, we don't have like the events of the year at South America. Either way, we are working with some of the partners that we have here in the region to start developing the maker events of the year in Argentina, and Chile, Peru, Colombia, and hopefully Mexico too. So expect some news probably in 2 weeks to see like a full calendar of maker events across the continent.
So does that include like smaller meetups, or is that like specifically conferences and like slight like
No,
medium to large tier events?
there will be, I guess, that at least we have in our minds two big events, right?
Mhm.
One of them is called Ethereum Buenos Aires. There is nothing to see with the ETH Global events. This is another thing, but we want to make it like a very big splash about it, right? We want to have a hackathon in Buenos Aires, and we plan to make it big. But I mean, we are organizing with several other projects and company here, and we want to like everything to be perfect. So we didn't announce anything yet. So just expect some news in the coming weeks.
Nice.
And then yeah, we will have like these smaller meetups, right?
Mhm.
In which will be hopefully divided into like three main, let's say, subjects, in which you will have a governance framework explanation, risk governance framework explanation. This is something that people is starting to ask a lot in the Spanish community,
Mhm.
Spanish speaking community. And then we will have another one, more like a CDP workshop for people that want to know what is a CDP, why they need a CDP maybe, and that kind of things. And another kind of meeting is a bit more like a general meeting in which they can ask a lot of questions, being about risk, being about Ether and DAI, their relationships, CDPs, voting, that kind of things.
Nice, nice. Thanks for the update, Mariano. That's really wonderful. I'm excited to see what's going to be coming out of South America.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to launch into the technical milestones and notables, partnerships, and new hires. So for new hires, there are none. At least I think every meeting for the last like 4 or 5 meetings, we've had at least like one or two new hires. But uh, over the holidays, we have not hired anybody new that I haven't already talked about. Uh, we have a notable that on December 21st, the stability fee was officially adjusted down to 0.5%. So happy New Year's present to the CDP users. Uh, we launched a Chinese translation of the CDP portal. So that's really exciting. One of our community members, Chow, actually spearheaded that, and it is live. Uh, Coinbase listed Diane Maker, so Coinbase has done that. I'm in New York, so unfortunately I did not get to participate in trading on Coinbase of Diane Maker. A16Z podcast did a wonderful episode with our CTO, Andy Millennius, and it's, quote, all about stablecoins. And Andy did a fantastic job, and I highly recommend that you guys listen to that because it's probably one of my, Andy is just always just wonderful at talking and explaining DAI and Maker and debt money and the evolution of money in general and what we are and what we intend to be. He's wonderful. You guys definitely got to listen to that. Uh, that's pretty much it. There's no real technical milestones, uh, and there's no real like online events. There was no AMAs or anything like that. But we do have a ton of updates from the community. So actually, sometimes we have Someway Jane in here, but he is not in here today. But Someway and his team in India, who made MakerScan, as well as a couple of other things, but MakerScan has been on the rise. So first off, they launched MakerScan, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And then over the course of the last week or two, they've come out with all of these user requested features like getting CDP email alerts, being able to pay down debt or add collateral to any CDP that's not yours. So actually, that's really cool because if you think about it, if you have like a hot wallet and your CDP is on your cold wallet and like you're traveling somewhere with your laptop and you only have access to your hot wallet, you actually don't really need the cold wallet because you can just pay it from a different address. So it actually makes CDPs a lot more user friendly with that feature. And I actually would love to see that feature sort of embedded in other places
Yeah,
as well.
like an insurance service, for example, in which you pay, let's say, a monthly fee for some kind of, I don't know, maybe a little help in a rough situation.
Yeah, people can basically try to make a business out of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, overall, I mean, it was never an issue of whether you can pay from, an address that's not your own or lock collateral from an address that's not your own. It's just that there was no user-friendly interface to actually do that. So you used to be able to do that just by interacting with like the smart contracts through like My Ether wallet or something like that. But now there's a very convenient button or a couple buttons. So definitely points for that to the MakerScan team. They're doing really cool stuff. I'm excited to see what else they're going to be pumping out. And they're actually former, I think like dual or 3-time hackathon winners for
Yeah, with
MakerDAO
this
hackathons.
startup.
Yeah, they're animals. They're doing great. But yeah, they're doing good. And then similar to MakerScan, actually a website called dieembassy.online launched. And they're in the alpha version, and it's very much also a Maker.tools type of like statistics, and there's some graphics, and there's a lot of details. And actually, I mean, I guess it is a CDP portal too, because, oh no, this is a simulator. Never mind, it's not a CDP portal. They have a simulator on the page. I thought it was a CDP portal for a second. I mean, like an actual, so you can interact with through them, but no. And I posted that in the chat if you guys are interested.
Cool.
Next, we have a few, I did not do well in organizing my links here, but Burner Wallet 2.0 is out from Austin Griffith, so that was pretty cool. He posted a YouTube video like right before the new year. It's also in the chat for you guys. The Burner Wallet is a really cool way to basically have a temporary wallet, mobile wallet on your phone that's like very streamlined, very user-friendly. Doesn't require an app download. You can actually use it straight through Safari and through scanning of QR codes. And it's really cool. You load it up with like $10, $15 worth of DAI, you go out to a bar, the bar has the QR code to receive and you can like scan, and it's really, really interesting tech. And Austin Griffith is the man for developing this thing. Yeah, yes. Also, there was a CDP portal made by one of our community members called Liquid Long. So Liquid Long, the cool thing about this one, also in the chat, the cool thing about this one is that you can actually choose your leverage up front. So you don't have to just lock your Ether. Like let's say you have 1 Ether and you intend to actually get ETH leverage. You could, from the start, basically request that it creates you a CDP with like 2x to I think 2.95x leverage. And basically what it does is it gives you the Ether up front. And then once it creates your CDP, it draws a DAI, buys the Ether, and then basically gives it back to the smart contract that gave you the Ether to start to even open the CDP in the first place. So it's like a cool little like technique there. But basically, it saves the user some transaction costs and some steps. So basically you have like a pure ETH leverage CDP creator, and it's right there. And it's an alternative CDP UI, so definitely check that out. It is in alpha, beta, something. So don't, use with caution. Always use with caution. If something hasn't been audited, if something is not open source, always look out for yourself. Don't put too much of your funds at risk. Play around with small amounts if you're curious about the tech. But generally speaking, this is a really cool thing. Next, we have the Telegram CDP alerts by BitPager. So basically, they have a website where you just put in your, I think, Telegram username and the CDP that you want to monitor, and they will send you like updates based on how you configure it. So I think you could like ask them to send you updates at 200%, 150%, things of that nature. But I might be wrong about that. Anyway, test it out, but it's really, really cool. As is all of the stuff that is coming from our community, because tools like this make interacting with our platform just wonderful. There's so many things that you're going to be able to do in the future, and I'm really excited for 2019. So moving forward, so there were a couple of articles that came out as well from our community members. So there was an article called Exploring the Emerging Crypto Debt Markets, and that was like a write-up of DeFi in general. For those of you that don't know, DeFi is just short for decentralized finance, and there's just a number of dApps that fall into this category, like Compound, like Dharma, Us. There's a few more, but those are just the main ones that get the most talk around the town. But there's a really good write-up. Definitely suggest reading through that. I'll be posting that right there. Next, we have an article by one of our devs, Peter Ujavari. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Peter, I'm sorry if I messed that up, but he wrote a introductory article. So it's the first in a series about decentralized, recursive, ETH leveraged positions on MakerDAO. And actually, that ties into exactly what Liquid Long does. So what he means by recursive ETH leverage positions is he's going to explain how by locking your ETH and drawing DAI, and then buying more ETH, and then locking that ETH, and then drawing more DAI, you can achieve a sort of maximum leverage of, I think, like 2.95 or 3. But he goes into the preface of what he means, and in future series or articles, he's going to be putting out the more technical math behind it and the amounts and like example cases and things of that nature. So definitely check that out. Also gonna post that in the chat. We have a guy from actually our Telegram. His medium name is Banteg. He put out a article, like actually a very readable technical article on, it's called a deep dive into the MakerDAO governance. And this was pretty cool because he went into each step from like the smart contract level of like what it takes to execute like an executive vote in our system. And as you know, recently we had the vote to change the stability fee down from 2.5% to 0.5%. And in the wake of that that season, he wrote this article, and he's really great. He has a wonderful Medium page that does like explain it like on fives for like, I guess, 10-year-olds, but really good article. Definitely check it out. And then actually earlier today or yesterday, depending on where you are, there was a critique posted, and we love critiques at MakerDAO. We love seeing our community discuss them, and we love thinking through them. But this critique is called MakerDAO, Stable but Not Scalable, a lesson in stablecoin arbitrage. And I had just read through it before the meeting, and it's an interesting piece, but it is, in my opinion, limited, and it doesn't take into account several things. So I have my qualms about it, but there's, a Reddit thread, and everybody's already listed my objections. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in hearing people's opinions on why DAI might not be scalable. And lastly, the final thing in the highlights from the community that I want to highlight is David Hoffman's POV Crypto podcast. So I don't know if you guys listen to it, but for the last few episodes, there's been like repeated talks and mentions about Maker. I think one of the most recent episodes was Ethereum as a money, and it was him and Ryan Sean Adams, I think is his name. And they were talking about whether or not Ethereum qualifies as a money and how that will play out in the future. And it's really great episode. Definitely check that out. But before that one aired, there was a special edition one where it followed the article that David had put out about how Ethereum basically should be treated with special privilege in the MakerDAO ecosystem because of just the kind of asset and its status, and the fact that we have sort of a duty to protect the security of the network by providing utility for Ether, by giving it basically priority, higher debt ceilings, things of that nature. So me and him argued about that on his podcast called "The Role of Ether in Multi-Collateral DAI," and I think it was, I don't think it was a numbered episode, but I think it was just a special episode because he put it out, I think, the same day that we recorded it because he wanted it to be fresh with everybody in the community because that was the current discussion that was going on Reddit. So definitely check that out. David has been a really awesome community member. Really have been enjoying his podcast lately. So yes, that is pretty much it for the things that I've noticed in the community, but there is one more thing that I need to mention because me and Rich, Rich is the community development like guy as well, and me and him came up with a community post of the month initiative. And the way it works, he explained it in the Sticky Reddit post, but the way it's going to work is on the last day, or sorry, on the first day of each month, I'm going to post a Reddit thread that basically, well, let me try to explain this correctly. The Reddit thread is going to have our pick for the best thread or comment, discussion, community content piece. And sorry about that, piece. And it's going to be, we're going to give it platinum. And basically, we're going to, geez, sorry. The office is very loud here, guys. Apologies. But yeah, so we're going to be giving it platinum, and we're going to be basically giving the community member who wrote the piece some appreciation and some praise. So additionally, after that's published on the first of the month for the previous month, we're also going to give users the opportunity in the comments, or Redditors in the comments, to choose their personal favorite, and the one with the most upvotes by I think a week or two is also going to get platinum from the team. So definitely participate. We love seeing the community come together and build stuff and write stuff, and we love having never-ending conversations. So yeah, that's it. That's all the spiel I have. Mariana, do you have anything on your side that I might be missing?
No, nothing at all.
All right, cool. All right, well, I went through pretty much everything. Also, I want to plug that I think we're back in action for regularly scheduled. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think we're back in action for regularly scheduled governance and risk meetings. We have these meetings every Thursday. So if you're a MakerDAO fan and you really love thinking through governance, financial risk management, how our system is going to interact with other assets on the Ethereum blockchain and outside of the Ethereum blockchain eventually when multi-collateral DAI comes out, definitely tune in and participate on those calls. I think there's been 19 calls so far, and they're all recorded. There's a SoundCloud playlist if you're into podcasts and just audio, and there's also a YouTube playlist if you're a more visual person. So I'll post those. Oh, and actually, there's also a written recap. So if you're a reader, so we got it all because we want to spark conversations and thoughts about governance and risk, and it's one of the biggest conversations and like spheres of conversations that we at MakerDAO and our community need to be having this year, especially as multi-collateral DAI is going to be launching at some point this year. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys, I'm going to open it up to you guys. Feel free to ask any questions. Me and Mariano are here. Kenny's also here. He has definitely a lot of insight to not so common questions. So fire away. And if not, I mean, we could pretty much wrap it up in a few minutes, unless anybody has any other updates they want to share. All right. All right, so it looks like nobody has any questions, which is cool. I don't mind, but well, I mean, I like questions. It's fun to have conversations with our community, but yeah. So I'm gonna wrap this up.
Wait, I have one question.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Yeah, so this is Richard at Balance, and we're working on a kind of a mobile UI for viewing, monitoring, checking up on the CDPs. And I was just super curious if anyone in the room had any desires or things they really want to see in that interface. And if so, I'll just post our kind of notes on this. And if you'd like to have a look, I'll just get that up. And you can, anyone,
So
you can give me feedback now or on the call.
So Richard, is it like a general CDP interface, or is it something more like MakerScan where it's like, or Maker.tools where it's like all statistics?
Yeah, so it's going to start with viewing it on your phone. So either viewing one that's in your wallet or just adding like a CDP number. But you can see that we're kind of exploring a bunch of different interfaces and things. And I think we're pretty close to a user interface we're happy with, but we'll be sharing more of that over time. And
is it like is it like its own app? Like, is it going to be like on the Toshi wallet, like App Store or Dapp Store? Or like, where is it going to be available when you do complete the project?
Yeah, so it's built right into the Balance mobile app. And
nice. Okay.
It's more like a native interface, like a full native integration into the MakerDAO system. And yeah, I just posted the link there. You can check the mockups if you like. And
oh yeah, that's right. I saw the screenshot of this. I thought that the UI was absolutely freaking beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I saw this. Okay, excellent. Yeah, if anybody has.
Yeah, if anyone's keen to have a look at it and give us feedback, they have to do it now or anytime. But you know, we're really at the prototyping phase now, and then we'll be heading to engineering as soon as we've.
Richard, now that you're here, I would love to see, for example, the thing that David showed us today with the maximum available leverage that you showed, David. How is the website? This one, liquidlong.kitonics. If we can have that option and the Balance wallet, it will be really, really cool. And now that you're here, I will ask you if we are able to like buy DDEX tokens directly from the Balance wallet.
Yeah, we'll do a good integration with Oasis and 0x. But the response to the CDP mockups was so much more strong than like another trading mobile app that we're going to start with that. Because I know my personal pain point is I want to keep really good eye on my CDP as much as possible. So I think we'll start with CDP viewing and then more kind of interactions around notifications and then being able to pay it down. And then I think things like a deep kind of 0x and Oasis integration would make sense. But yeah.
If you guys are curious what the link is, if you are just watching and not clicking on links, check this out. It is beautiful.
It's still super work in progress. But yeah, we've just kind of been collecting feedback from loads of people. It's been super helpful, but I figured sharing it here would be useful.
Yeah, definitely. So if anybody has any feedback, mention it. So on this link, I could just comment freely. Do I have to make it?
Yeah, I think you just sign in with your Dropbox account or some kind of email, and then and then you can just start writing away. Yeah, wherever you're going on. But yeah, just the more feedback we get before we go to engineering, the quicker we'll be able to move, and hopefully it'll be a product that everyone's really happy with.
Very cool. So let's say you get all the feedback and you guys are ready to push it into engineering. What would be like? What's your projected turnaround time on this product?
I would hope somewhere between February and March. Definitely February for viewing. I'd say notifications soon after that, and then that's really what we're hoping. We're aiming to launch just the first, the standard wallet for iOS towards the end of the month. So we're pretty close to that.
Very cool. Excited to see what you guys have in store. But these mock-ups have me with like hard eyes. It was really, really, really wonderful. UI.
No, it's been awesome, really collaborating with the Maker team. We kind of established that connection at Prague, and it's just been wonderful, from Richard to Greg to Ashley, everyone. It's been fantastic. So and like it really feels like we're finding product market fit, going like way beyond. We just don't want our wallet just to be a place to store and send tokens. We want it to be a way you can do interesting things, and this is definitely one of them. So yeah.
Are you guys aiming to be like a financial services type of wallet where you have access to like Compound and all the DeFi stuff, and then like on and off ramps even potentially, and things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I mean, we just share like where we see this going anyway. I mean, you're welcome to just have a look at the longer term. But this is like my brain dump of everything. You can see the mock-up at the top of there. Yeah, just see there's like all these amazing DeFi pieces, but if people have to kind of dip in and out of lots of web dApps tucked in mobile browsers, it's probably not going to be the kind of experience that a bunch of people get really engaged with. And so we think that browsers are important as a kind of place for experimentation, but let's lift like the top 10 experiences out, make great mobile, user interfaces, and then bring them to more folks.
Yeah, this is exciting. I can't wait to see what your product looks like in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, if anyone is on OS and wants to get on the test flight as well,
is there a sign up for that?
Yeah, let me get the test flight link for you.
I definitely want to get on that.
As things progress, we'll so here we go. So
how long have you guys been working on this since like the inception of the idea?
So we currently have Balance Manager, which is like a web-based tool to interact with Ledger, Trezor, and MetaMask. And then we started working on mobile wallet, and then worked on something called Wallet Connect, which is like a standard for connecting dApps to mobile apps. And then we really, over the last 4 to 6 months, it's been getting the mobile app to where we want it to be. And but for me, it was trying to think of, and for all of us really, we want to go beyond just a place to store tokens and send them and check prices. We want it to be a kind of powerful tool for people. So that's why, we really, everyone here in this call, I'm sure, is really deeply into it and might have ideas and things and feedback that would be very valuable to us as we build it out. So yeah.
So Richard, are you on Rocket Chat?
Yeah, I'm on Rocket. Yeah.
What's your handle? Because sometimes people like to listen to these meetings after the fact, and
sure.
It'd be cool to put out your handle so that they know who to contact if they're on the Rocket Chat.
Sure. I think Rick Burton, just RIC. Let me have a look. Profile. Rick Burton. All right, just same as my Twitter. So RIC. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. You guys heard it, and I hope you get lots of good feedback. I'll definitely take a look in a little while when I have a bit more time. And cool.
Yeah.
All right. Great. So that pretty much concludes all the updates. Richard, thank you definitely for jumping in. And if anybody has anything else, I think we're going to be ending it a bit early. All right, guys, it's been real. I will see you all. Oh, hold on 1 second. Oh, actually, I think I just saw Ashley hop on, and Akiva in the chat is asking if anyone has biz dev updates and stuff that they're working on that they could share. So I'm not sure if Ashley wants to chime in or not. I'm not sure if she's even able to talk. But
Hey
Ash,
guys.
if you're there.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey guys, that was kind of perfect timing. I was like hoping I was going to make this and I was on a call, so worked out great. So business development updates. We have a new business development hire. Jess Salmon has just joined the team as an account manager, which is exciting.
And she was an in-house hire too, right? She started off as a community manager, I think.
Community manager, and then she was focused on events, and now she's coming to work on the BD team. So that's exciting. Congrats, Jess. Basically, you know, last year was a very big year from everything from, you know, kind of big corporate partnerships with TradeShift and, you know, exchanges, Coinbase listing, got on KuCoin. We're working on a couple of other exchanges. Hopefully that'll come through sort of Q1 this year. And then the big things that we're focused on for the next quarter and probably the next 2 quarters are collateral types. So we're looking for kind of uncorrelated collateral types. And I'm by uncorrelated, I mean uncorrelated to Ethereum and crypto. So think like real assets, commodities, potentially real estate, various kinds of security tokens, non-fungible tokens that represent debt.
So I know one of the big contenders right now is Digix, but I know a lot of people in Reddit and around have been talking about the low liquidity of Digix. How do you feel that might affect its listing in multi-collateral DAI?
Yeah, so that's kind of it's really sort of like more of a risk question than a BD question. But as part of my role, which is to go out and sort of find collateral types, the question will always remain: what is the liquidity of that market and that asset class? And that's ultimately going to affect the interest rates, or excuse me, the stability fees, the collateralization requirements for each asset class. And so that will kind of funnel through the risk team, and that will be up for them to decide, not only on a, you know, per asset class basis, but also in the context of kind of the whole portfolio of collateral types that we have. So yeah, BD is very focused on collateral this year, as well as adoption and education. So we really, it's kind of an interesting time because we need to grow DAI supply sort of at the and DAI demand in you know, in lockstep with each other. So we're looking at all kinds of new and exciting things.
Any notable ones? Any of your you have any favorites that you've been looking at that not a lot of people know about?
Well, so there are a couple of really interesting use cases coming up with XDAI actually that are going to help fuel like faster payments in consumer environments and consumer applications. It's not I can't announce anything yet that is nothing's quite finished yet, but there are some very, very big announcements coming down the pipe in terms of things we'll be doing with that, which I think will really boost demand for DAI and also have some really good outcomes. As far as, you know, outright sort of like corporate partnerships, we recently partnered with, not really corporate, but we recently have partnered with UNICEF. So they're now accepting DAI, but we're going to take that partnership further and basically focus on actually bringing DAI into the markets where they're operating in terms of like last mile funding for initiatives on the ground in like refugee areas and things like that. So that'll be exciting. And I think increasingly we will also see, and because we've hired in places sort of outside the US, Nadia, who's on our business development team in in Latin America. I think we're going to start to see DAI being used much more as a means of exchange in countries that are not like necessarily first world economies, right? Where it has just a really high impact. So because of that, I think we can expect to see a lot of demand growth for DAI, which is why I'll be here focusing on supply. So if anyone has any ideas on things that you think could be interesting collateral, we're really looking at everything from accounts receivable and digital media rights to, I don't know, Eva Balin tweeted something about like cheese wheels being used as collateral. We're open-minded. All of these things will have to be, and kind of to David's point, for every new collateral type, we'll have to define a liquidity pool for it in order for us to bring it on as collateral. But that's all stuff we're working on. I wish I had some like really big zinger announcement. Unfortunately,
yeah, we're coming out with a new protocol. It's called POC, Proof of Cheese.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's awesome. So Jordan actually asked in the chat, will Tradeshift be able to provide collateral in the nearish future? So do you have any insight into like where they are on their roadmap? Because I know that it's like probably a hella ton of R&D and integrations, and just a lot of people got to be working on it because it's something that's completely new that hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, so the Tradeshift partnership has kind of like a couple of different phases. The first one is, and I think they're getting very close to implementing it if they haven't already done some of this already, but basically just starting to use DAI to move money around their supply chains faster for their users. That's kind of step one. And then step two, of course, will be to go through the process of actually collateralizing accounts receivable and allowing their users to do on-chain factoring, essentially. And that has to wait, of course, until multi-collateral is actually released. But I do know that the teams that are working on that, Tradeshift is super stoked on this, and they're co-developing it with us. So the plan is to try to have it at least a test, a pilot ready to do shortly after the launch of multi-collateral DAI. I don't think they're going to move their whole platform into this capability. I think their plan is to like select some users that are interested in trying this out and sort of doing some testing around it and getting it perfect before they kind of roll it out to their broader platform. But that is all on the horizon and being talked about. So good question, Jordan.
Very cool, very cool. All right. If anybody has any additional questions, definitely speak up now or hold your peace until next week. All right, so that was the update from BizDev. We went through the events that were going on a little bit of them. I don't know if we covered them comprehensively. We did all the updates. I'm glad you guys joined us. And for those listening or watching, glad you watched. And we will see you next week. The next community meeting is going to be on Tuesday the 15th. And I will be posting my usual reminders about that. So everybody, I hope you had a fantastic new year, and I look forward to next week's meeting.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.